أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Alhamdulillah, we've all heard the saying that it takes a village to raise a child. Yes, we've all heard that it takes a village to raise a child. But I believe that it takes an equally strong village to raise an adult. And today I want to talk about this concept. So if you think of life being like a curve, so it starts off high at the top and then it dips at the bottom and then it goes again back up. Okay, so if you think of life as this curve and it's a life dependency curve, so you depend. So when we come into the world, we're completely dependent, aren't we? So as babies, we can't do anything for ourselves and we're completely dependent, for others to take care of us, take care of our needs. And in the same way as we're leaving life, as we go through old age, again, we become completely dependent on other people and the community around us and our family. Okay, and this is how we navigate through life. So we come into life, we come into the world, we're completely dependent, and then we leave the life and we're completely dependent. But as we come out of dependency and we start going into adulthood, we start becoming independent. So what happens is that as we become independent, we're able to tie our own shoelaces. We can let ourselves into the house. We can learn how to drive a car. We go to university. We get married, and we become independent. And so when we think of adults, we think adults. Another word is adults are independent, and therefore we're able to take care of ourselves. But I believe that in adulthood is where we actually need the most amount of dependence on others, or through this transition, through this period called adulthood. We should be the most dependent on other people through this period. It's like a valley. Adulthood is like a valley that we need to kind of navigate through, and we need help and support through it. Because in this valley of adulthood, we actually experience many, many things. We may experience our parents getting divorced. We may experience personally getting divorced. We may experience anxiety, depression, a terminal illness. It may be in this valley that we're overwhelmed with debt. We get stuck financially and we don't know how to come out of debt. We might experience in this valley death of our loved ones. And no one teaches you how to bury your parents. And no one teaches you how to remove that fog of depression that we might be experiencing. Yet because we're known as adults, we're just assumed that we're going to just be able to figure it out, and that's it. We're just going to be able to figure it out. But we actually need the most help and support through this area, through this time in our life. And there's an example of Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't know if you've heard of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's an organization that if you're suffering from alcohol, you've got this issue with drinking, you actually go to Alcoholics Anonymous, or you can go to this organization. And what they found, or through the research, is that people who are struggling with alcoholism, and if they just go to your traditional treatment, a formal treatment, course of treatment, the success rate is up to 3 years that they will remain free of alcohol. So it's like 29.5% the success rate is that these people will not return to alcohol. But if you actually are part of Alcoholics Anonymous, so you're having the treatment, the formal treatment, but you're also actually coming to Alcoholics Anonymous, and Alcoholics Anonymous is a group, it's a community, and the people of all faiths, all backgrounds, people of all kinds of socio-economic backgrounds and statuses, and they're all there in that community. They find that the people that actually join this community as they're trying to come out of this issue that they've got with alcohol, it's 50.9% the success rate of that. But what is the actual, the secret behind these people actually, what is the secret behind Alcoholics Anonymous, this organization? It's the fact that there's this community, there's this accountability, and there's this support network. And another thing about Alcoholics Anonymous is when the people actually go to Alcoholics Anonymous, they stand up and they say, my name is so-and-so, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. My name is so-and-so, and I struggle with alcoholism. It's a big issue in my life. What do? They stand up and they acknowledge that they have a problem. Okay? But yet, we as adults, we have to project this image that, I've got life figured out. And, this programming that we get from the world around us that, every man for himself, survival of the fittest, it's me against the world, it's going to be it's going to be up to me, and if you want something done, then you got to do it yourself. And that's the kind of programming that we grow up with in life. And this is the type of programming that's so deeply rooted inside of us. But the thing is, in life, when we're actually going through these situations and we're going through these struggles, we can't simply go to Google or Siri and say, how do I bury my parents, Siri? Or how do I get through this fog of depression, Siri? Siri doesn't have the answers. We need to go to direct help. We need to go to 999 and we need to say, I need help. Yeah? So, one of the most the powerful words in the dictionary isn't just I love you. It's actually I don't know. It's actually being able to say, I don't know and I haven't figured it out. And our results show that we haven't figured it out, because if we really knew and if we had figured it out, our lives wouldn't be the way they are. And so, with children or when we're in education and students, how do they know that they haven't figured it out yet or that they're not doing so well? What do? They have exams, don't they? And they get grades. And their grades show to them, okay, I'm performing well in English and maths, and I'm struggling in science. I need a bit more help on this. That's like the feedback. That's how they know that they're not actually they're doing well or they're not doing well in certain areas. But what about as adults? We don't have a grade system that gets sent to us every year, posted through, and that tells us. But what we do have is we have certain areas of our life. So we have our health, we have our recreation, we have our personal lives, we have our spirituality, we have our finances, we have areas in our life. And if you were honest and you actually sat down and decided and looked at all of those areas of your life and said, okay, how am I scoring? What are my grades in these areas of my life? Some of those areas of your life, you could be doing fantastic in them, and alhamdulillah, you don't need support in that. But some of them, you could actually, need a bit more support, and some of them, those areas, you could be actually failing miserably. And it's at those moments that you actually say, I haven't got it figured out, I need help. And instead of letting your ego stop you, letting your insecurities and your fear of what somebody's going to say, she's the one who, seems like she's got it figured out and she's the one who's struggling. It's okay to say, I need help. I'm struggling in this area of my life. I'm struggling with my health. I'm struggling with my relationships. I'm struggling with my marriage. I'm struggling with my parenting. Can someone help me? I'm going to people who are either experts in their field or they're a few steps ahead. I have a friend who, who's mashallah, her children are a little bit older than my children. So she's kind of gone through the hard stages of the teenage years. So I kind of go to her for support when I'm kind of struggling with my teenagers now. Because she's just a few steps ahead. Or you go to somebody who's an expert in their field. But it's okay for us to say that, I'm struggling and I don't know. And, they say that the most successful people in the world, there's a clear crystal pattern. That these people, they're not successful just on themselves. They're not successful because they've gone through it on their own. They're actually successful because they work together as a team, as in a pack, as in a group, as in a community. I mean, the best of examples that we have is of the Prophet, peace be upon him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. When the revelation came to him, he worked with a few of his people, right? he built that support network, and that support network grew and grew and grew until Islam was widely spread, and he was the most influential person on the, he's the most influential person ever to have walked the face of the earth, because he worked in that way that was wholesome. And this is where, when I look over my many years of working in the community, as as being a mother, as a wife, as a member of the community, and I work with many people, and I always ask the question, where is it that we're failing? Where is it that we're going wrong? And I was listening to this video today, and it was like, this is where we're going wrong. We think we can go it on our own. We think we don't need help, but we do need help. And we do need that support. And until we actually come back to working together as a community and not having this, if somebody says your son or your daughter are struggling, I'm going to take that as a personal ego issue. I don't want anybody to say that. And if I don't say that to somebody else and nobody's going to say it to me, we need to ditch that attitude. Yeah, this is why our society is probably the societies that's struggling the most, is because we don't stand up like those they're doing Alcoholics Anonymous. They don't stand up and say, we're struggling, this is our issue, this is how our youth are going off the track, this is why our marriages are failing, this is why our finances are like this is why we are poverty stricken. These are the reasons why we have these issues, for us to be able to stand up and acknowledge, yes, I have this issue and I need help. Who can help me? And this is where we should be seeing, not like our Sheikh always says, that we are part and parcel, we are the fabric of this society. Yeah? And something that Imam was saying was that in their community there was an issue with drugs, and he wanted the parents of the community to come in so that we could eradicate this issue with the drug dealers, and the parents weren't interested. But when the parents did become interested was when those same drug dealers were supplying to their children. That's when they became interested. Not when those drug dealers were supplying to other people's children, but when those drug dealers were supplying to their children. And this is where we need to shift and think, when you see something happening out there, we need to collectively as a community come together. And we need to not see it as, well, this is not my issue, this is not my child, this has got nothing to do with you. We need to take that as a genuine concern and say, okay, how can we help this sister? How can we help this family? How can we support this community? And until we do that, our community is going to go worse and worse and worse. And we need to create leaders of tomorrow. And I work with kids, I work with the youth, and I don't see that right now. I don't see that we're creating strong leaders for tomorrow. And so we need to stop, as parents, we need to create a community. Like we have circles, don't we? We have circles of a sister circle, we have study circles, we have a book circle. This is what's needed. We need to create these circles. We need to create parenting groups. We need to create, marriage groups and these kind of circles which are going to support other people. You might have made the mistakes, and you want other people to not make those mistakes. Yeah, it's not like, okay, yeah, you might have this successful image, but you can say, I made the mistakes and I want you to avoid those mistakes. And this is where we're going to actually learn from other people's mistakes, so that we can actually save many years of our own lives and our energy and our time, so that we can actually truly gain barakah and blessings in our life, and we can become truly successful like we were many, many years ago as a community. So inshallah, if we can just go back to that we do need that support. It takes a village. It really does take a village to strengthen a community and to make the changes a positive impact and make a positive contribution to society, inshallah. So I pray that our community is that community that is going to make that, that we are that shining light, inshallah. So any benefit, like I said, is purely from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any mistakes are my own. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wa salamun ala mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.